Oh man, man, oh man, oh man. I think we got a good one tonight, folks. How we doing? Welcome to the basement. Welcome to Saturday. Hope you guys are ready. We got lots to go over tonight. Got box office numbers. Got some leadership, potential leadership changes to talk about, and then there appears to be some issues on the Doomsday set, folks. Just a rumor, but my God. So I hope you guys are ready. As our friend Josh says, buckle up your butthole. Because this stream gonna be lit. But you know what to do before we really get going. You fill your cup and you light smoke. And you sit back and relax. Because chat and replay people. It's time to get nerdy. Welcome to the basement, people. How we doing? It is this Saturday night stream coming to you again from right here in the basement. How's everyone doing tonight? What's going on, chat? What's going on, replay people? Do me a favor right now. Just do it. Hit the like. And if you have not done so yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell. Pretty please, I'd appreciate it. What's up, chat? Hosea, Brooke, Spasa Dan, Brennan, how y'all doing? How we doing tonight, guys? How was the back half of your week? Busy boy. Chilling. Your host here, chilling, has been a busy boy. The regular job. Got to do a lot of dashing to pay for the car I'm driving around now to dash in. Fun little circle there. And we're finally moving in with Mrs. Chillin's parents tomorrow. So, yeah. He's got to take, excuse me, I got to take this motherfucker down tomorrow morning. And then transport it and then reset it up. It'll be interesting. I may fuck around. Maybe make a couple little changes. We'll see. But, yeah. This is the last stream from this particular location, this particular basement. Technically, if you wish to be pedantic about it, where I will be streaming from next week is not an actual basement. Mrs. Jones' parents live in a tri-level, so we will be in the family room, but it is also a lower level that is below ground. So, fucking close enough. It's Sunday here. Just finished making my son pancakes. What the? What are you in Australia or some shit? Where the hell are you, Hosea? I did not know you were not domestic. So fucking hey, thank you for watching on given the time difference the other side of the whole damn globe. Shit. Appreciate you. I mean, I appreciate everybody, but the farthest away that I knew about that I have people watch me was England. They're only 5 hours ahead. You're making your kid breakfast. It's at least 10 hours ahead of here. 7 a.m. there. I mean, it could be later. Gotta be around that, though. New Zealand. Okay. Cool. I was close. I was close. And pancakes are fucking awesome. I love pancakes. Is there anyone that doesn't love pancakes? Like for real, chat. Anyone here that doesn't love pancakes? I love breakfast. Like on a semi-regular basis, we make what we call BFD. Breakfast for dinner. It's a favorite of mine. Anytime I go to like a diner, I guess would be the most universal term for that style of restaurant. 9 times out of 10, I'm getting breakfast. I love diner breakfast food. My God. Pancakes are so delightfully fluffy. The bacon and the eggs are so delightfully greasy. Ugh. Ugh. So good. How about you, Chad? How y'all feel about breakfast food? We haven't gotten to the nerdy shit yet. Technically, this is not a digression. This time. As we all know, I digress frequently. Yep, happens a lot. Dub, C-Dub, what's going on, man? Brooke finished chapter 17 of 22 on Doom Dark Ages. Ooh. Hoping to finish 18 through 20 tomorrow and 21 and 22 on Monday. Nice. Nice. So are you just not much, just Morgan. So are you just doing like the story part and you're gonna go back? Are you platting on your way through? Are you even gonna try to plat that game, or are you just trying to get through it and enjoy the coolness that it has? Doom Dark Ages is tough as fuck. Imagine. Man, let's get off the desk, please. Yes, you're cute. You're adorable. Let's get off Daddy's desk. Come on. Go. Just playing for the story. All right. Cool. Same? Yeah. Trying to get as much secrets in each level. Okay. So you get it when you can, but you're not really worried about it. Pause. Anyway. Anyway. So, looks like we're all just living life day to day, eh? Is that kind of the long and short of it, or what? Ugh, that sudden nose itch. I know y'all know what I'm talking about with that shit. Everyone gets it. Almost like a cat hair stuck in my mustache or something. Eat that shit. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Get up in there. Go on. Shoot. Thank you. All right. Well. Y'all ready to get into this shit, chat? Let us begin. With plan to watch Predator Killers today. Star Boyd, what's up? Fortnite just went from Star Wars to CD. Yeah, or DC. Yeah. Griff, what's happening, man? Yeah, I actually saw that on the Twitter. I didn't know that was happening today, though. This weekend. Yeah, I saw that. Actually, Hosea, just so you know, I actually plan on doing a watch party for that this week. I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm just saying maybe be willing to watch it twice. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'll tell you one thing though. That Killer of Killers, uh, everyone that I follow, in a nerdy way, is singing the praises of that movie. Like everyone is like, this movie is fucking awesome. A bunch of people are like, it's better than all the live action ones. I don't know, let's not go overboard, but yeah, rave reviews from all the nerds I follow on the Twitter. I may watch it before the watch party myself because if it's that good, I will have no problem watching it twice. None. Hell yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, the people I follow are loving it. Gearing up to watch the UFC fight tonight with a friend. You're not already watching the prelims? Prelims have been going on for like 2 hours already. I already saw a clip of a damn vicious check left hook knockout. Like a true one-shotter. I have a soft spot for Predator 2, but the first one is goated, yeah. I mean, I like all the Predator movies. To varying degrees. But I like them all. Like, there aren't any I'm like, ugh. I like them all. The bottom one for me is not a solo title. It is EVP 2. I believe it's called Requiem. Your friend's leaving the area in July? That blows. Oh yeah, I like the Alien films too. Definitely. Zombie Junior. What? I'm still a little lost. Praise your new favorite. Shit, I keep forgetting. I need to watch that. I'm a slacker. I still haven't watched Prey. I need to watch Prey. I've heard nothing but good things about that movie too. And obviously now you, Spicy Dan, are like it's your new favorite. So I need to quit being a slack ass and watch that motherfucker. You've only seen the OG Predator and you've never seen Alien? That's a bummer, Brennan. You're missing out on a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. OG Predator is fucking amazing. Like, it's what it is. It's a late 80s action flick. So, I mean, let's face it. We're not watching it for... Hello, Smudge. My cat, who's been thrown off this desk so many fucking times, he should know that he should not be right where he is right now. The Korean guy who dropped that. Oh, yeah, Zombie Jr. Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, I love the zombie. I love that guy. He is so much fun to watch. Did he retire, or did he like get booted from the UFC or something? God, I can't remember. Is that Song Yadong? No, I like Song Yadong too, and not just because of his name. He's a fun fighter to watch. God damn it! What's the Korean zombie's actual name? I cannot think of it right now. What? Did I drop some dinner on my shirt? Why are you licking my shirt? You know, you being here is why I pet you. Probably what it's about. Yep, cat cameo. That's my buddy. That's one of my two cats. He's the younger of the two, and he's the one that picked me. Our older cat and much larger cat is he's a mama's boy. When we first got him, he chose mama. Then we got that one, and maybe it's just because mama smelled all like the other one, but that one chose me. You watched The Accountant 2 yesterday. I wasn't expecting a cat cameo. There was a cat cameo in The Accountant 2. Damn, now I want to watch it even more. Because the first one's fun. I like Affleck. I like Bernthal. And I like Cat. I need to watch this movie. Yep. Yes, sir. How you doing, babe? What do you think? Accountant 2 is great. Cool. Is that still in the theater? Is that out on digital? Like, what's the deal with The Accountant 2? Actually, it doesn't really matter. I could watch it tonight if I so chose, I imagine. I have ways and means of watching things that I normally wouldn't have access to. Oh, I know. Yeah. Mrs. Chillin is celebrating our mattress because we were dog sitting for a friend of hers. And, oh, it's on Prime to rent? Or is it free on Prime? My alternate method is free. And I'm a miser. Most of chat knows this already. Not because I want to be a miser. I have to be. Oh, trust me, babe. If we were balling, I would not be a miser. I would have more shoes than you. I would have more clothes than you. Like, I like clothes. I like shoes. I like jewelry. Like, I like to look good on occasion. I don't always want to be like slovenly and shit. You know, sometimes I want to feel. I don't know. A free on Prime. Oh shit! Kevin Davis, what's going on, man? Yeah. Like you and I would both probably have a walk-in closet. Haven't seen The Accountant either. Guess you're sheltered. I mean, I don't know your actual circumstances, so I couldn't really can't speak to that, buddy. I would definitely say missing out though. You're definitely missing out. You're missing out on the predator. You're missing out on the alien. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. shouldn't be able to hear it super well, but you should still be able to hear it. All right, guys. Are you ready to get into this? You ready to start getting into the news? Kevin. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Kevin says, box office pundit want How to Train Your Dragon live action to be a smash hit with families like Lilo and Stitch and Minecraft. The opposite's going to happen. You think? Even Fantastic Four First Steps has moderate success. Kevin Feige isn't going anywhere else. He's not going anywhere even if it bombs, which it's not. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that. I know we talked about that some on Wednesday when it was crashing websites, but now we have actual numbers. So we'll be talking about that, Kevin. Fear not. Fear not, good sir. It shall be addressed. But before that, we're going to talk about the leadership at Lucasfilm. Yes, we are. Hollywood Reporter dropped an article the other day. Okay, I'll address this one real quick. Kevin says, people rooting for James Gunn. My only concern is Superman doesn't make a profit at the box office. Zaslav will spin off Warner Brothers. No, because it's, and we'll talk about this too, but it's going to be very difficult for Superman to make a profit. So, and Zazie knows this. He'd never admit it. Like Warner Brothers themselves will never admit it. And we'll get into that more here after we talk about this Lucasfilm shit. But Superman doesn't have to make a profit for DC to be okay and Warner Brothers to be okay. It just has to do well. And if it does well, Warner Brothers will take that as an indication that it'll be cool moving forward because things will only go better. You know, that kind of thing. So, anyway. But yeah, no. Zaslav isn't going to spin off Warner Brothers if Superman doesn't profit because it's going to be very, very, very difficult for Superman to profit. Anywho. All right, so Hollywood Reporter dropped a monster of a fucking article the other day talking about leadership at various studios and agencies and junk and the changes that are coming. They talked about Sony. They talked about all kinds of talent agencies, CAA and whatnot. And they also talked about the Lucasfilm. So they only really addressed it in this paragraph here. And this first sentence is going to be a little out of context. I'll explain it. Lucasfilm seems likely to follow that path in replacing Kennedy. Like I said, like what the fuck? How does that make sense? Well, I'll tell you. That path is promoting from within. In the paragraph above, somebody or other was saying that hiring the CEO from the outside is an admission of weakness. It means, you couldn't find enough talent, and you couldn't nurture that talent for it to take over when you were gone. So they're talking about it's better to hire from within, and that is the path that this first sentence is addressing. Hiring from within. Despite speculation about outside candidates, including a former 20th Century head Emma Watts, insiders say the company seems most likely to promote from within. The current thinking is a scenario where Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni and production head Carrie Beck, both Lucasfilm vets, take co-head roles. And it would be virtually the same thing as what's happening at DC, where Filoni currently, again, Chief Creative Officer, so he would handle the creative side like Gunn's doing. And Carrie Beck would handle the business side like Safran's doing. Even as an arm of Disney, Lucasfilm remains, in many ways, a family business, and as a George Lucas protege, Filoni has long been considered a golden boy. But the knock against him is that he might be too steeped in Star Wars lore and risks steering a show into dense mythology that loses a broader audience. He's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy, says one Disney insider. Beck, who joined the company in 2012, knows the ins and outs, but neither she nor Filoni has much film experience, which could be mitigated by Kennedy's continued presence as a producer on certain Star Wars projects, ensuring quality control in the short term. Okay. So, this is by no means confirmed. They never said anything about this is confirmed. They just said the current thinking. However, if the trades are talking about it, that means it's at a minimum the most likely thing to happen. Obviously not confirmed, not guaranteed. But again, the trades on the whole, for the most part, tend to be very, very studio friendly. And within the studios, friendly to whoever's in power. Specifically. So, here we have this part here I find very interesting. But the knock against him, speaking of Filoni, that he might be too steeped in Star Wars lore and risks steering a show into dense mythology that loses a broader audience. He's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy, says one Disney insider. This is kind of interesting. Number one, this indicates that whoever wrote this article it is a fan, or is less than a fan of Filoni's version of Star Wars. And obviously, so is the insider that they quoted. He's not the Andor guy; he's the Ahsoka guy. You can hear. if you think about it, say that out loud. You can hear this insider's preference for the Andor over the Ahsoka, which means this guy is a fan of how KK does things. What's interesting? What else is interesting is if y'all remember, Josh did a video 3 weeks back or whatever it was, that big old Star Wars video with all that info he got from that source of his, most of which is, some of which has been verifiably confirmed, proven true. Literally, at a presentation, the Darth Maul part of it was proven true. You didn't like Ahsoka? I liked most of it. The end was back. Like, 1 through 3, episodes 1 through 3, decent. Episodes 4 through 6, fucking amazing. And then 7 and 8 were whack. Like, it did not end well. Mando season 1 and 2 were fucking goated. I like climbing in the dark. But, so, part of that video, outside of, some news about Ahsoka season 2, and that Maul show, that source also told Josh that there's basically a civil war going on in Lucasfilm, where there's there's a Kathleen Kennedy camp, and then there's a Dave Filoni camp. Those who want to bring Star Wars much closer aligned with how George was doing things, and those who want to, well, they would say broaden it. I would say just straight change it, because that's basically what they're doing. And it would appear that both the writer of this article and that insider are basically in the KK camp of broadening Star Wars. Here's the thing. As it states, Filoni is George Lucas' protege. He worked with George for over a decade. Um, he and George, and not just, oh, hey, I worked with George Lucas. Like, they were hand in hand on the Clone Wars. Um, yeah, basically, George and Dave were master and Padawan. So the closest thing you are going to get to George Lucas Star Wars is that which Dave makes. Period. End of story. Now, for me, and this is backed up by numbers, getting back to George Lucas style Star Wars is the way to go. Not just because of I'm much more of a fan of that, but because of the fact that Lucasfilm has been on a steady decline ever since KK decided to try to change things up in an effort to bring in a new audience. Now, on paper, trying to bring in more people to your IP is a good idea. But like anything, a good idea can be turned into a big pile of shit by being poorly executed. There are plenty of good ideas that have been turned into a pile of shit by being poorly executed, and not just how to run an IP. There are many other things. I'm not going to get into them because it'll end up in a fucking political discussion, and I'm so not in the mood to get into anything like that. Not happening. But let's just say there are plenty of things out there that on paper were really good and started off really good, and then the execution of them fucked them all up. Playing in the tunnel. Yeah, that crinkling. I don't know if you can hear it, but if you do hear crinkling in the background, that's a cat playing in one of those crinkly tunnel things with the, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, while from a business sense, I cannot argue that broadening your fan base is ever a bad idea. But I can vehemently argue with how people may choose to go about it. And it ain't just me, folks. The numbers speak for themselves. Diminishing returns in the theater and diminishing returns in viewership on Disney Plus. I'll say that the changes Kathleen is trying to make to Star Wars to broaden the audience, while it has brought in some new people, and while Andor Season 2 is doing much, much better than Andor Season 1, well, at least the total amounts viewed are doing pretty well. I would love to see the actual minutes viewed for Andor Season 2 on their own, without Season 1 being added to them, like Nielsen does. But, no matter how you slice it, Andor is being watched a lot. It's charting on the overall chart. It's charting on the originals chart. It's doing well. But that's an anomaly. Kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy having B and C tier level characters being highly, highly successful was an anomaly. How do I know this? Phases 4 and 5, especially Phase 4, where Marvel spent a shit ton of time throwing B and CT level characters at us on Disney Plus and presenting them like ass. Marvel's at its lowest point ever because they were fucking around. Star Wars is at its lowest point ever because they're fucking around. Like, think about it. How much sense does it really make to look at a thing, see that it's a massive global success, buy it for $4 billion, billion with a B, billion, $4 billion. And then go, cool, this is monstrous. It's huge. We spent a shit ton of money on it. Let's fucking change it all. Let's go completely away from what made this thing successful for the last, let's see, at the time of the purchase, which was 2012, 77. So that'd be 35 years. Yeah. Yeah. Let's take this thing that's been a global phenomenon for 3.5 decades, spend $4 billion on it, and then go away from what made it a global phenomenon for 3.5 decades. It's a good thing he's the Ahsoka guy and not the Andor guy. Because while season 1 itself had its issues, it's still the closest thing you get to Lucas Star Wars. And Lucas Star Wars was that global phenomenon that you paid for $4 billion for 35 years into its existence. And then decided to change it, and now it's at its lowest point in its entire fucking history. Which we are now at 48 years. '50th anniversary of A New Hope is in 2027, y'all. 2 years, the 50th anniversary of A New Hope. Oh, you know what else tells me that people prefer George Lucas era Star Wars? While offering after offering of Star Wars over the last 5 years has become less and less and less and less popular, with 1 or 2 exceptions. When Revenge of the Sith was brought back to the theaters for its 25th anniversary, the limited engagement, it set fucking records. So while Disney era Star Wars is sliding, you put a 25-year-old George Lucas Star Wars movie back in the theater and it sets records. I mean, how much more fucking proof does anybody need? How much more proof does the writer of this article need? How much more proof does this dipshit insider bagging on Dave by saying he's the Ahsoka guy and not the Andor guy? How much more proof do you need? KK's way does not work. It hasn't worked for a dozen years. It's never going to work. Not from a creative side, not from the business side. It's not going to work. So I don't know, and that's just, that's just the Filoni of it all. Then there's Carrie Beck. I guess she's worked with Filoni on a few projects. So they have a good working history as far as, I can tell. She's definitely going to be more of the business person. Dave has no Hollywood business experience. He's a creative. That's what he fucking does. So, yeah, but beyond that, I don't know shit about this lady. Hopefully, if it does end up being these two, again, this is just the current thinking, but it's the current thinking as reported by a trade, so we know it's a very, 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 very likely scenario. So if it does end up being this duo, I hope Beck is actually smart enough to see what my basement sitting ass can see. Not Hollywood person, just a dude in his basement on a camera and a microphone. But even I can fucking see because I can read numbers. I can see obvious trends. Like, and if I can, these motherfuckers should be able to. And if you can't, you don't deserve to have that job. This insider does not deserve to have his job. If his job is for Lucas. Their job, whatever. Could be a lady. You never know. But if that person's job is at Lucasfilm, they don't need that fucking job because they're on the wrong side. Period. Your wife wants to watch Star Wars now because you heard David Cornsweet loves it? Yeah, actually, that made me more of a David Cornsweet fan. I think it was a video of him driving and quoting Revenge of the Sith. I can't remember, but he was just sitting there quoting a movie like off the top of his head. So I was like, yeah, you're cool. You should have fought James Gunn about that fucking super suit and made it look better, but you're cool. Yeah, I didn't know who Corin Sweat was really either. I still don't remember what he did. Something of some note. I don't fucking remember what. I don't feel like looking. But yeah, so now when I say things definitely need to be done the way Filoni would do them, which is much the closest we'll get to the Lucas Star Wars. That is not to say that there can't be projects that aren't like 100% Lucasy or Filoni. Like you can add different flavors to it. The key is just maintaining the core. Like at least for me, some people, there's probably hardcore Star Wars fans that would. I don't need to. There's probably hardcore, like super hardcore Star Wars fans that it would balk at what I'm about to propose. But someone was it was brought up that the Lucasfilm was potentially looking at like a Star Wars horror film. Now, again, on paper, my initial reaction would be like, "Fuck no! What the hell are you thinking about it?" But if you stop and consider it, I mean, what you got to get past your initial reaction to the word horror. There are ways to put horror elements in Star Wars. I mean, there already kind of are to a very small extent. I mean, you got body horror when Obi-Wan stumped Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith. That's technically body horror. Palpatine getting his face melted again, Revenge of the Sith. Technically body horror. There's monsters in Star Wars. Rancor eating a shit. I'm brain farting on that pig species. Eating that pig critter. That's there's a bit of an element of horror there. The Sarlacc, bit of an element of horror there. So it's not like there's no horror in Star Wars already. And there are ways where you could take that a few steps further. You could lean into that kind of thing just a little bit harder. And still stick to the core of what George created. There are ways to do it. There are plenty of creative people out there who could pull that off in a way that would satisfy all but the most hardcore of hardcore. The Ice Spiders, yeah, that too. There's a way to do something like that would satisfy all except the most ultra hardcore of hardcore Star Wars fans. In that, Well, you dude, you live in New Zealand. You can't be scared of spiders because you'd have to be agoraphobic otherwise. Like if you're scared of spiders, there's no leaving the house in New Zealand or Australia because I've seen the pictures. Those things are fucking huge. Mrs. Chillin had thoughts of vacationing in Australia. And then she saw a picture of the size of spider that can just get into your house. Forget what you encounter in the bush. Just the size that'll get into your house. She's like, hell no. Australia, yeah, your area of the globe is now off Mrs. Chillin's vacation list, Hosea. Gone. Because Mrs. Chillin has a pretty decent case of the arachnophobia. Not like it's not bad to the point where she like gets paralyzed with fear. Some are as big as a dinner plate. Yeah, my point exactly. Um, she doesn't get paralyzed with fear. Like she doesn't roll like that, but don't get in her way. If she sees a spider, especially if it's a good enough size, do not be in her way when she retreats. You probably couldn't hear her, but she says, I don't care how big you are, I will move you. Yeah, don't be in Mrs. Chillin's way if she decides a retreat from a spider is necessary. It's not going to be conducive to your health. New Zealand has no spiders. They're all in Australia. I'm pretty sure he's lying. Oh, who do you know in New Zealand? Oh, she's from there. Okay. Yeah, we actually have another New Zealand connection. We can verify your spider statement that I already completely don't believe. But I can have my lack of belief justified in short order, sir. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, yeah, this Lucasfilm shit. So, oh yes, this last sentence, which definitely crystallizes where the writer of this article stands. Okay, so Beck, who joined the company in 2012, knows the ins and outs, but neither she nor Filoni has much film experience, which could be mitigated by Kennedy's continued presence as a producer. Presence. The whole point of those two coming in charge is her not maintaining her presidents. Continued presence as a producer on certain Star Wars projects, ensuring quality control in the short term. Lou! Avengers Secret Wars, welcome. Did you hit like? Did you hit subscribe? Did you hit the thumbs up? These are the important questions that I have for you. Your question, could you tell me the source of Avengers actors' fight in Doomsday set? Yes, I'll be more than happy to tell you that later in the stream. That's going to be the last thing I cover because that's how you have people put in watch time. I'm just going to straight up say it. That's how it's been done in any kind of anything that involves reporting any kind of anything. You save the big shit for last. Then the rules. Well, how long is? Well, for at least for the entirety of modern journalism, them's the rule. You ever heard the phrase, if it bleeds, it leads? Yes, that says to put it in the front. That is one philosophy. From Deadline or something else. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you. I refused to answer the question. I didn't tell you. I said I'm going to talk about it later in the stream. because while this is something sort of like a news show, it's primarily an entertainment show. So when you're providing entertainment, you always save the biggest, what you consider the biggest and or best for last. So that's what I'm doing. I will answer that later. Yeah, but yeah, ensuring quality control in the short term. How can you say Kathleen Kennedy can ensure quality control with Lucasfilm cinematic features when she hasn't had one in theaters in 6 fucking years? Last Star Wars movie, Rise of Sky or Solo. After Rise of Skywalker, both 2019. Or sorry, Rise of Skywalker in 2019 was the last one. Because yeah, Solo came out after TLJ, and it fucking bombed. If I recall correctly. Anyway, whatever one was the last one, it was in 2019. So we're at year 6. When Mando and Grogu comes out, we're at year 7. Don't talk to me about Kathleen Kennedy's ability to do movie quality control. She can't even get a fucking movie on the screen. We've had plenty of announcements over the years. We got a Taika movie. We got a Rian Johnson trilogy. We got, what's her damn name? The Wonder Woman lady? Is it Patty Johnson? Something like that. She was supposed to have a movie. Like, all kinds of movies. Well, the One Ray movie we've had announced. That's supposed to be directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. Nothing. Like, the first movie that they've announced that we're actually getting is the Mando and Grogu movie since 2019. I'm doing great, Lou. How are you, man? And again, that movie being your first movie in 7 years, kind of like a side quest, bad idea. Like, if you're going to come out in the theaters after 7 years, you better come out swanging. I mean, I like Mando and Grogu. I like the Mandalorian show, except for season 3. But I'm sorry, that should not be your first movie in 7 years. You need to come back huge in the theater. Executive Judge was happening. You need to be coming back huge if you've been out of the theater for 7 years. Huge. But they're not. So don't talk to me about Kathleen Kennedy's ability to quality control movies. First, she's got to be able to put one out. Second, she's got to know what to put out. And she's failing on both tests. Now, the movie we're getting after Mando and Grogu, that Starfighter movie, the Sean Levy movie starring Ryan Gosling, it's going to be interesting. I have no real opinion on it yet. I like Sean Levy. I like Gosling on screen. So, I mean, there's potential. I will say that. There's good potential there, but we will see. You think we'll get the previously announced Taika Waititi Star Wars movie or not? No. Nope, I don't. Because I don't see Dave doing it. And it's definitely not happening before Kathleen leaves the presidency. Which, by the way, rumor is she's leaving with Iger. And Iger's supposed to be out next year. Like, his contract's up next year. They're working on finding his replacement. Iger going next year. Supposedly KK going with him. Which begs the question. Well, first of all, which seems to concern, or, could confirm, Star Wars doing Star Wars things, shocker. What up, Jay? Which could confirm how she has not been fired yet. Because if they're that attached at the hip, now we could speculate all day on why they're attached at the hip like that. Like, does she have something on him? Probably. Yeah, evidently when he goes, she goes from the presidency. Specifically. Allegedly, she's still going to, again, they're talking about her hanging out, producing movies. ensuring quality control. Yeah, no, we're not going to get the Taika one. We're not going to get the Johnson trilogy. At this point, I don't even know if we're going to get the. I don't know if we're going to get Mangold's movie at this point. That's another one. Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi movie. Don't know if we're going to get that one. Don't know if we're going to get Taika's. Don't know if we're going to get the Johnson trilogy. Please know the Taika and Johnson trilogy. Don't know about the Mangold movie. What's that dude's name? There's supposedly another Ray trilogy that was talked about. Kinberg. Simon Kinberg was allegedly supposed to be doing a Ray trilogy. Nothing, and more nothing. So, miss me with that Kathleen Kennedy being able to ensure movie quality. Like, just miss me with that. Patty Jenkins, thank you. That's her. No, we're not going to get her movie either. Her movie was based off Mando season. Whenever they decided to make What's Her Fuzz, a Ranger of the New Republic, it was going to be based off of that. Sort of, but specific to the spaceship side. Rogue Squadron, that was the name of it. You don't believe they're that tied together? Oh. They got to be pretty tied together, because otherwise he probably would have canned her ass. Like, he literally flat out ignores Lucasfilm. He doesn't talk about it in interviews. He doesn't talk about it on investor calls. He just pretends it doesn't fucking exist. And that means they're tied together in some fashion or another. Pretty closely. Know what that fashion is? No fucking clue. They could be just super good friends. She could have humongous dirt on them. Who the hell knows? I mean, who doesn't like a reasonably decent conspiracy? So, we'd all like to think it's the dirt thing, right? That's just so much more fun. Ooh, she's got ass. What did Iger do? She's got ass. That's just the more fun scenario. Them just being super, super close is like, boring. 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 So, all right. That's all I got on that one. It's most likely, not guaranteed, most likely to be Filoni and Beck, which means hopefully Filoni going to win that civil war that's happening in there right now, and that insider and the writer of that article and anyone else in that camp can suck all of my dick. He's left before, nothing happened, and no, I feel like he would cape harder for her. Okay, he technically resigned, but he never left his fucking office. Like, literally. Never left his office. Chapek didn't get Iger's office, because Iger never actually left it. He didn't leave the building. He was there. He was just behind the scenes, engaging in his businessy machinations. So, he left on paper. He never. Feel like he'd cope harder for her? Honestly, if she's got a shit ton of dirt on him, him just not bringing Star Wars up or Lucasfilm up is the best way to handle the situation, both in regards to her and the investment that he's responsible to. Just don't talk about it and and hope no one else brings it up. That way, nothing has to be said. Yeah. That's actually the best way to handle it. kind of pretend it doesn't exist and hope people go with the flow. Obviously, have prepared answers, but yeah, he's actually doing the right thing to balance whatever the deal is with him and KK and the investors. He's walking a tightrope. That is 100% sure. He is walking a tightrope. In one. Made of loose material. Which kind of makes it less than a tightrope. But you fucking know what I mean. It's a saggy. Alright. I'm going to go replenish a can, grab me a can of pop real quickly, and then we'll move on to our next subject. Be right back. Turn up the music. Here we go. Okie dokie. Okay. You already talked some. Let's talk some. Let's talk some budgets and some box office next. What the hell happened to my thing on the thing? God damn it. Bear with me for a minute here, chat. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Okay. That goes there. That goes there. Okay. So, as tends to happen around in around Hollywood and the people that follow what happens there for whatever reason. In our case, we follow what happens there because that's where our comic book movies and shows get made. So we need to we need to not only know what's going on with the IP we love, but we also need to know what's going on kind of around Hollywood in general and how it works to help us understand why some things with our shit happen and why some things don't. Why some things work and why some things won't. A little bit, yeah. Little Dr. Seuss inspiration. Quick little homage. Um, no, I'm saving that for the end, Your Honor. You're good. You're good. Now we're going to talk some budgets and some box office projections, and then we'll get to that. All right. So, we've talked about a little bit about this before. There was a report that came out that said the Superman budget, based on some documents, was like $363 million. Now, after that, one of the trades, I think it was the Wrap, came out and put it at around 225. So we're going to get into this article. It doesn't say specifically where a couple of these numbers came from, but anyway. This article talked about a couple movies. It's basically an article on excessive spending by these studios on these movies. Is pretty much what the article was. Here's a part that talks about Superman. Last year, documents filed by the Superman production team with the Ohio government seeking incentives listed the gross budget of the highly anticipated July film as $363.8 million. When that number was reported, director James Gunn, who also runs DC Studios, lambasted the article. How in the world did they think they know what our budget is? He wrote on social media. In recent days, DC suggested the budget is a net $225 million after incentives and tax breaks. That's what the article in the Wrap said. Yet one longtime financier says the $363 million figure isn't incorrect. And sources say DC and its parent could spend as much as $200 million on the global marketing campaign, compared with the usual $150 million for an all-audience summer tentpole. It wouldn't be a surprise when Superman kicks off the Gunn era and needs to work at the box office. Either way, between the production budget and marketing, it's certain to land in the $400 million club. According to a veteran studio source, Superman, which opens July 11th in North America, is exploding on social media. This is true, with the first full trailer raking in 250 million plus views, the most in Warner's DC history. And plus that Superman now being on Fortnite is just part and parcel and proof of this, $200 million marketing campaign number as opposed to the usual 150. Like they're going at it. Based on such metrics, a domestic debt of $175 million or thereabouts is within the realm of possibility. It even has a shot at finishing with $1 billion plus globally. There's no way to defend these budgets because when you get into the $700 million to $900 million break-even point in regards to box office and ancillary revenue, it doesn't make any sense, says a veteran financier. Okay, and then it jumps into Jurassic World Rebirth. All right, so Delta Dan was happening. And Lou's still in here, too. Real quick, boys. Grab your beverage. Now that you're both here. Cheers, yo. Prost. Slancha. Aheim. Saturday, I can take a real size shot tonight. Even though I do have shit to do tomorrow, I'll be fine. What did you miss? Mostly just me talking about the likelihood that it's going to be Filoni and Carrie Beck taking over Lucasfilm and why the people that are in KK's camp on how to do Star Wars are fucking idiots. And that my assessment of them being fucking idiots is completely backed up by the numbers, because it is. And now we're talking about budgets. So, this first part just fucking kills me, guys. I love this. Last year, listen to this. Last year, documents filed by the Superman production team with the Ohio government seeking incentives listed the gross budget of the highly anticipated July film as $363.8 million. When that number was reported, director James Gunn, who also runs DC Studios, lambasted the article. How in the world do they think they know what our budget is? He wrote on social media. What else are they going to pick, though? I don't know. They could go outside, but a paragraph or so above the portion that I talked about, that only really mattered to us here on this channel, intimated that hiring president / CEO from outside the company is actually a sign of weakness, because it means you couldn't procure / nurture the talent you already had, which is the inability to procure and or nurture talent is bad. So they could go outside, but it would, according to the person in the paragraph above, that would be kind of widely considered a sign of weakness. Not that there aren't already plenty signs of weakness in Lucasfilm, but yeah. So, yeah, Gunn. How in the world do they think they know what our budget is? Last year, documents filed by the Superman production team with the Ohio government seeking incentives listed the gross budget of the highly anticipated July film as $363.8 million. How in the world did they think they know what our budget is? Because your company fucking told them that's what it was in an official financial filing. You fucking boob. Get off the internet and run your studio. Like, what the fuck? He literally asked how they think they know what the budget is. Your company fucking told them that's what the budget was so they could get money back. If that wasn't the budget, if the actual budget was lower and that's what they got their incentives based on, you know what that is? Fraud. Tax fraud. Inflating your budget to get bigger tax incentives is tax fraud. So no, motherfucker. $363.8 million. That's how they know what your budget is, because that's what you fucking told them. Like, it's not a report making that shit up out of whole cloth. They didn't just pick that number out of the air. It was on an official government document. And again, you couldn't have been highballing because that's tax fraud. So yeah, that's how they know, because your fucking company told them. Now, the next sentence. In recent days, DC suggested the budget is a net $225 million after incentives and taxes. Now, I wonder if they have to set the budget high on paper in case it goes higher than what they thought. Well, you're, again, running the risk of fraud if it doesn't get that high. Like, if it doesn't get as high as what they claim, that's fraud. So, using that as a strategy is probably a bad idea. Or, I can't say probably. Could be a bad idea if by some miracle you came in under budget. It's a chance, a small chance, but it's not a chance I personally would want to take if I'm in charge of a company, because tax fraud charges don't look good. Even if they end up not, being proven or not being proven in a court of law. I think that's the best way to phrase it. Even if they end up not being proven in a court of law, the fact that it happened, bad. Okay, bad, okay. So, yeah. So yeah, DC suggested budget is a net $225 million after incentives and tax breaks, which could be true as well. See, that's the joy of Hollywood accounting. It could be both. because they did mad reshoots. So if it was 360 million or whatever, it could be 400 plus now. Yeah. Or even if you went off this net 225 after incentives and tax breaks, that could now be 325 after the reshoots. You know? But yeah, next sentence. One longtime financier says the $363 million figure isn't incorrect. And then they go into how much extra they're going to spend on marketing on this movie, too. So, let's just say we're going to play with numbers now. Off this $363.8 million, I'm just going to use 360 because that makes the math so much easier. So we're going to say it's a $360 million budget. Now, your average rule of thumb says your break-even point of your movie is 2.5 times your budget. Or if you want to write it out as a formula on paper, you're going to have two sets of parentheses. Set of parentheses 1, budget times 2. Plus, second set of, I should be doing it this way. Budget. Yeah. Budget times 2, parenthesis, plus, parenthesis, budget divided by 2, parenthesis. So that would be 360 times 2 plus 360 divided by 2. So 360 times 2, 520. 360 divided by 2, 180. 520 and 180, 700. Now, 360 times 2 is 720. 720 and 180 is 900 million. If that $363 million number is accurate, it was filed last year, so it was after filming. Because they did it. Metropolis is Cleveland, in case you didn't know. That's why they spend so much time in Ohio. Because Cleveland is Metropolis. So, $360 million means you need a $900 million box office just to break even. If it's the full $400 million, $1 billion. Saw someone else show the paper numbers but didn't see a date on it. If I scroll through my TwitX, I might be able to find it. I don't know that I want to do that right this second, but maybe. But let's go with the net 225. Okay, we'll go with that number. 225, using said formula. That would mean the break-even point would be at, let's see, 225, 450, half of 225 is basically 112. So, 450 and 112. That would basically need 565 million would be the break-even point for a $225 million budget. That's much more doable than 900. So, of course, the miracles that Hollywood accounting can pull off will go with that number for sure. And that's very achievable. This movie's going to make like 700 million at least. Like, there's quite a few people who think it's going to hit a billy. I'm sorry. Even if it does better than Fantastic Four, which is quite possible, Fantastic Four is going to do well enough. It's going to step all over Superman's toes. Like I've been saying ever since I first heard this July slate of Jurassic World, then Superman, then Fantastic Four, that is too many humongous fucking IP too close together. None of them are hitting a bell. None of them. They're too close together, and in this economy, there's frankly just not enough of money to go around to put all three of those, or any of them, over $1 billion, in my opinion. Now, I will say this. Even though it's in the middle, Superman, I think, has the best chance. Fantastic Four has, on paper, a better chance because it's the last one to come out, and it doesn't have shit for competition for quite a while after it comes out. So it also has a shot. But this is the first Superman in over a decade. We all know what music can do to people, and the score seems to be on point. Uh, the Boy Scouty stuff seems to be on point. It's just a matter of how much did gun on this. Reports are that a lot of the gun has been wiped out of it. Jose says, I wish I had a time machine. Go ahead 10 years to see what the state of the studios and movies are. Okay. I'm not going to go, well, we're not going to go super deep down this rabbit hole right now. Maybe after we're done talking about everything, we can go play in some rabbit holes. But all I will say is the studios in 10 years, if they aren't already, are going to be damn close to being obsolete. Because, yeah, like it kind of pull a little boss move doing ticket sales before Superman. Yeah, a little bit. If nothing else, he's throwing down the gauntlet like, what, bitch? My shit comes out 2 weeks after yours, and I'm confident enough to sell now. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, and this is much more pragmatic than White Suge Knight type stuff, but I'm gonna start selling my tickets before you start selling yours, so I can get the money before you do. That is probably closer to the truth. Like, these studios know. Like, let's not get it twisted. If I can see how these movies will have a very good shot at stepping all over each other's toes, you damn well bet Hollywood execs can. You damn well bet Hollywood bean counters can. You damn well bet knowledgeable people in the business can see what I see, because compared to them, I'm just a pleb. I'm just here doing my thing, hanging with y'all, talking about this shit. But if I can fucking see it, a few people there can fucking see it. Like, I'm sorry. There are many subjects where if I can see what's going on, experts at least damn well better be able to see what's fucking going on. You know? Jurassic Park going to top both Superman and F4? It goes first, bro. Jurassic Park has 2 weeks to make its money, and then Superman comes out. And then 2 weeks after that, Fantastic Four comes out. Many people have been like, the other three made $1 billion. You know what Chillin did? Let me tell you what Chillin did when presented with that argument, which on his face is quite valid. Chillin went back again, because my main reason for saying what I say is the proximity of these three massive IP. I went back and checked the level of competition for the previous 3 Jurassic World movies that all did make $1 billion. Oh, yay, Mariah! How's she doing? My phone is linked to my computer. A text message just popped up. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went back and checked to see the level of competition the previous $3 billion entries in the Jurassic World franchise had, and it wasn't shit. Nothing on this level. Nothing even close to this level of competition did the previous 3 Jurassic Worlds have. Like, it's these things are not the same. The circumstances are not the same. No, even though it's in the middle, I'd say Superman has the best chance to be the top performer of July. Everyone knows who Superman is. We haven't had a Superman movie. I mean, he's not the most popular DC character. I'm not saying that. Batman is. He's not even the most popular uh, comic book character. Spider-Man is a Marvel character, by the way. But Superman is iconic. He is broadly known. We haven't had a Superman movie in over a decade. And James Gunn, whether you like it or not, brought in crypto. So James Gunn is also going after the family dollar. Not the chain of stores, but the dollars from families. He's trying to get the kids to drag their parents there because they want to see the cute ass super dog. Like, say what you want about James Gunn's sensibilities. As a movie maker, he's more than competent. As a storyteller, he's more than competent. He just has a tendency to let his inner 12-year-old run crazy. That's his only real problem. The dude can make a fucking movie. The dude can make a fucking movie. Bro, I was in the theater watching Guardians 3, shedding literal tears. Like, the dude knows how to hit you in the fucking feels. How many girlfriends or wives are tagging along because crypto's in the movie now? More than there probably were before. Like, I'm not a fan of Super Pets. I didn't even like Super Pets when I was a kid as a concept. I was like, I don't need this shit. Just give me my fucking heroes kicking ass. I'm good. So, like, especially when James said that he originally wasn't even going to put crypto in until he rescued that dog. Now, mad props for being a rescue, for adopting a rescue. Like, mad props for that. More people need to do that. But, like, deciding to add crypto to a movie just randomly because of your dog, the fuck? But on the other hand, that could also bring in a chunk of revenue he may not have gotten otherwise. You're going to try and see all three? I am not. I am going to skip Jurassic World. ScarJo or no ScarJo? I know, ScarJo. My God. Basically, like, not identical, but basically back in Black Widow. She's basically Black Widow again. Like, if you think about it, evidently not exactly, but again, basically at, like, you know, a non-nuanced level, she's Black Widow. So, they love dinosaurs overseas? Yes, they do. They love Superman overseas, too. You're already sold on Superman. The less question left to answer, is the movie any good? Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be in. I'm going to see it. Like, it's one thing I can say. There are two things I know. I like Black Widow. So do I, bro. I mean, my God, ScarJo she's a good actress and very attractive. Crypto not a reason to watch Superman? No. Well, not for me. Could be for kids. Could be for just straight animal lovers who aren't really that much into, like, you know, comics or shit, but they could be like, oh, look at that cute ass dog. Oh, he's get to do such nice stuff. And they'll fucking go. And it's Superman. I at least know who Superman is. And they'll fucking go. He did good with the Rocket Raccoon. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like, when he wants to, he can. punch you right in the fucking field. He's perfectly capable of it. The problem is he's equally, if not more so, capable of a dick and or fart joke right after that serious moment. That's the problem. Like, don't get me wrong. Let me be very, very clear about this. If you've been around any length of time, you know I love dick and fart jokes. I'm not shy about this. I love South Park. I love Beavis and Butthead. I love fucking Family Guy. I am not scared of toilet humor, as it's been known. Or I am not scared of having my mind in the gutter. Like, I'm not scared of adolescent humor at all. I'm prone to it myself. Right? Don't get me wrong. I don't I don't dislike gun sensibilities because I don't share them. It's amounts and timing of guns is what's like the fun. Like anything, there are ways to do toilet humor right, and there are ways to do toilet humor wrong. And at least for me, Gun gets it wrong fairly fucking often. But that being said, again, the dude knows how to make a good movie, and when he wants to punch you in the heart, he'll fucking do it. See Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So, I'm looking forward to Superman. I'm interested. I think, again, two things I am not worried about: the visuals or the score. Okay, I was never worried about the score. I was a bit worried about the visuals at the beginning, but the last couple trailers, nope, not worried about those anymore. My only concerns are the rumored retcons and how much gun gunned when it comes to the humor. I think people are wary that this could be exactly or Guardians of the Galaxy Superman. But yeah, I mean, Love of Thunder is Waititi and Marvel. But yeah, sticking with gun, Guardians of the Galaxy. People are worried about Guardians of the Galaxy Superman or like too much Peacemaker vibe in Superman. Because Peacemaker, gun goes ham. Creature Commandos, gun goes ham. Those are the projects to do it in. Superman is not. So, let's hope the rumors are true that movie got about 20 minutes cut out of it and that a fair chunk of that was gun being done. The only concerns I have are how much gun is left and were those rumors about the movie accurate. My main concern is Lois Lane. Oh, dude. I saw another picture of her in that one dress with the underboob. Rachel Brosnahan is. I retweeted that today and was like, best looking Lois Lane ever. I haven't watched like all the shows. I mean, Terry Hatcher looked good. Margot Kidder from The Donner. They hired her more for her attitude than her looks. Terry Hatcher was on the Dean Cain Superman. Amy Adams was I didn't really think she felt much like Lois Lane. Honestly, they tried, but they failed. You see the Guy Gardner thing DC dropped the other day where Lois roasts him? No, I did not. Are you in the Discord? If you are, please go in there and drop a link. That'd be great. I don't remember. I never watched Smallville, so I don't know who the Lois Lane is on that. But technically, she's supposed to be a teenager, so can't really count anyway. Yeah, I think Brosnahan might be the most attractive Lois Lane we've ever had, bro. I think so. Okay. You're somebody could be. Well, here. Does that work? I don't think I have that command set up. Someone with a wrench dropped the Discord link in the chat. Thank you, Delta Dan. Yeah, click that, Hosea. And I 99.8% of the time I drop the link to the stream in the Discord too. And the Discord notifications are much more reliable than YouTube. So, yeah. Follow that link. Said link is also in the description of this video and in my channel description as well, in case anyone else is interested. So that's the deal with Superman's budget. If you believe the studio, it only needs $565 million to break even. If you go by what they filed with the state of Ohio, it needs $900 million to break even. There's a bit of a range there. But I will say this. No matter which number is the real number, no matter which break-even point is the accurate break-even point, this movie making a profit is not mandatory for the DCU to continue. It just needs to do well. It just needs to crack 650, 700, which, if you believe the 225, it'll make a profit off that. If you want to go with the 363, that will not make a profit. But that will indicate enough interest in the DCU for them to continue it, regardless of the level of profit, if they even get it. Yeah, I haven't set that up, Griff. It's not going to work. I need to quit being a lazy fuck. Figure out if that's part of the free stream lab, and if it is, set it up. It's so hard to quit being a lazy fuck with that shit, though. Like, I completely forget about it. I shouldn't forget about it. I'm very sorry I let this shit slip my mind constantly, but there always seems to be much bigger fish to fry than setting up gambling for you guys. But I should. I really, really should. I need to set up the exclamation point commands, if it's part of the free package. Again, miser. Okay. Cool. Oh, awesome, Hosea. Welcome to the Discord. Thank you, Delta Dan. Appreciate you. Y'all want to watch that real quick? Let's watch that. Why y'all didn't tell me I sounded like a fucking robot? Why can't I hear that? Oh, that's why. Turn it on. There we go. You're going to get on Rivals in a bit? Nice. Now, see. Oh, you know what? I'm a fucking idiot. Let's do it that way so you guys can see it this time. That is kind of funny. But Daniel, I know I'm lazy, dude. Don't tell Ben, but I haven't even made the free spicy jam with every order I'm sending out yet. You still couldn't hear it? Oh, god damn it. Oh, that's why. Because I'm dumb. Double dumb. Okay, hold on.
So that he has to walk around in real life with just bleach. I can hear you. Really, I'm just making this movie as an excuse. What I think we should do is bleach his sideburns so that he has to walk around in real life with just bleach sideburns. I can hear you. Really, I'm just making this movie as an excuse to give Nathan a bowl cut.
For our next number, gotta play a little song I wrote about love.
And then they sing without an accent.
And then you sing without an accent. Always.
Oh, yes. Yeah, much better shape than last time.
Bring it back to book up.
Yeah.
That haircut should be against your vows.
That what? That what should be what?
What I think we should do is
There we go. I gotta watch it 3 times. What? Jose, I think what happens around Superman and the other characters can be funny here and there, but Superman can't be a joke. I mean, that will go a long way to not being good. But while that joke is funny at the end, what she says to him, that's also the exact same. Like, I'm not saying it's not funny, but that's also exactly what I'm worried about. Is in excess of that. That's my concern. Yeah, it's my concern. Is how much of that we're going to get. Now, what you said, Jose, is exactly like here and there, a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay. Go crazy with it, you done fucked up. Yeah. Well, you know what? Shut up, Delta Dan. And take a drink before you start your rivals. Oh, I knew what you meant. Here, take a drink before you start rivals. And you too, Lou, if you're still hanging. And anyone else, of course, that wishes to join. It's just those 2 are my usuals. Is all I'm saying. Cinnamon. Okay. All right. One last story involving numbers. Okay, guys. Now, you'll recall from Wednesday's stream, whether you were here or watched it on the replay, hopefully you did one or the other, or even both. That'd be cool. But we talked about on Wednesday about how when Fantastic Four tickets went on sale, websites crashed, shows got sold out, and obviously, that's a very, 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 very good sign to those of us. Oh, I know you will. I just wanted to do a quick shot before you got in there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Um, yeah. After a pretty crappy run overall, there were exceptions, but after a pretty crappy 2 year run, where especially with two of what are after Fantastic Four going to be three of Marvel's cinematic offerings this year, bombing financially at least. Thunderbolts actually was good. Come on, Brennan. I'll be doing at least one more before the end of stream, so get that shit poured and be prepared. Bruh. As Scar saying, be prepared. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, multiple ticket or multiple theater or ticket selling websites crashed. Fandango, AMC, Regal. I think they all experienced outages from the people trying to get on and buy them some Fantastic Four tickets themselves. Fandango came out the next day. It was like that was their biggest opening sale of the year. And now we actually have a number to go with all that anecdotal evidence. Because let's face it, that's just anecdotal evidence. Yes, verifiably websites crashed. Yes, theaters verifiably did get sold out. But now we have what we need to really try and to really discuss and speculate about how well this movie will do. So this came from Box Office Theory. They're an analytics company. Their thing is literally this: tracking and forecast. So according to Box Office Theory, the Fantastic Four First Steps eyes one of Marvel's best late summer debuts. They're projecting $125 to $136 million opening weekend. Domestic. That's just domestic. You'll be prepared. Excellent. So I don't know, unfortunately, if Fantastic Four will be in China. No confirmation of a release date in China, but no, there's been no official word one way or the other if Fantastic Four is going to make China, but it doesn't look good. Okay, I'm just going to say if you think about it, you'll know why. As far as I'm going with that, do they do international pre-sales? I don't know, but this is just domestic pre-sale. I assume it's based on the country, the theater chain, and what deal they've worked out with the studio. I think that's basically what that shit comes down to. But so far as the tracking number goes, this is domestic open. 125 to 136. Pretty good. I don't remember where I saw it, but that puts it, I think, at the 15th largest MCU premiere. So they're 36, 37. Well, this I think will be MCU movie 37. So that puts it just above the middle of the pack in terms of opening weekend projections. That's good, or at least dollars. This is just projected. If that number holds, that's where it'll land. It'll land about number 15 in terms of domestic opening weekend box office. So that's pretty cool. Yet another indicator that while People are not going to show up to shit they don't care about. People are not going to show up just because the Marvel Studios is putting it out. People will show up for the big shit. And Fantastic Four is big shit. It's Marvel's first family. Got a movie called The Fantastic Four. Death would do good in China anyway. Where the fuck are you getting death? You have confused me, Spicy Dan. Oh, I can turn the music back on now. So, so yeah, just above the middle of the pack if this number holds. I mean, 125 to 136 is a strong opening. There have been bigger, there have been smaller in the MCU and for comic book movies in general. Now, the key is going to be, because what we generally talk about, also China doesn't account for as much sales as you would think. Depends on the movie. They helped a fair, or it really depends on the movie. China and the rest of overseas basically saved Venom 3. Because Venom 3 didn't do shit domestically. There's another bigger IP movie that international saved, and I can't fucking think of what it is, but I know that's international in total, but when China shows out for a movie, it helps. I mean, it's not guaranteed that they would show out for Fantastic Four, even if they get it anyway, but, you know, Mo Bucks is Mo Bucks. Yeah, so 125 to 136. If they can, if international can match that, that means we're looking at an opening weekend of around 250 to 275. That's a solid opening fucking weekend. Now, if international doesn't match it, if it comes in at like 80% of that, which would be, what's most likely? 96. You're still looking at like 220 to 240 opening weekend. What's my excitement level for Fantastic Four? Yeah, I'm pretty much with Delta Dan. I'm at an 8. It used to be lower, but the trailers have been looking better and better. There's an article. God damn it. I was thinking about talking about having to do with Fantastic Four. Maybe I'll pull that up. What's up, Rob? Yeah, Mocha is now foster adopt. Yay! The weird dog sitting though could become rude. What the fuck do you even mean by that, dude? Oh, and you wouldn't cry? Oh, that dog's that bad, huh? It takes a lot for you to say that about an animal. You better hope Heather doesn't fucking ever read that. She'll be like, what the fuck? I'm glad that you guys are keeping Mocha. I mean, I would have been glad if she found, if you guys found her a good home or whatever. Yeah, I know you're watching your friend's dog. Obviously, your friend's dog sucks. Hearing soon female surfer win the day and all the dudes sidelines. Oh, see, now I have to pull that article up. But, there's really not much more to say. Basically what it boils down to is Marvel is not dead. We might not be back, but Marvel is far from dead. Because if this tracking holds up, that's a solid opening. So people still are overall down with Marvel when they think it's going to be big and dope. pretty much what that boils down to. Now you're going to make me look up this article. Hello, sir. Oh, there it is. I retweeted it. Yeah, it's from the Direct. Fantastic Four is currently tracking for the 15th biggest opening weekend in MCU history. Okay. I knew I seen it somewhere. Hey, look, there he is again. On my desk where he fucking shouldn't be. Alright, so it's a menace in every way. Ron Weasley meant Mocha's phenomenal dog. The other one is the exact opposite. Oh, okay. Alright, so I'm not sure where you got that, Delta Dan, but this article came out in Collider today. I wasn't sure if I was going to go over it, but since you brought it up, there were some quotes from this article I saw on the TwitX that I was like, damn, they're nailing it. So, let's see what you think after this. So this comes from Collider. The Fantastic Four First Step Sneak Peek, a sci-fi epic inspired by Kubrick, Star Trek, and even Raimi's Spider-Man. None of those are bad inspirations. I think many would agree that the MCU hasn't been the same since the epic conclusion to the Infinity Saga with Avengers Infinity War in 2018. It came to a conclusion, you dipshit, in Avengers Endgame in 2019. But that's beside the point. Iron Man is gone, but Robert Downey Jr. isn't. I know. Black Widow is dead, and Kevin Feige and company are more committed to the Disney Plus exclusive TV releases. With slow box office performances for the movie releases of the past few years, a directionless Phase 4 and 5, true, and a last-minute big bad switch, yep, the MCU has been failing to top itself for the best part of the past decade. Other than getting the wrong movie in the wrong year, the rest is correct. 2025 has seen somewhat of an uptick. I don't know what the fuck you're saying. The less said about Captain America Brave New World, the better, true. The Thunderbolts, subsequently named the New Avengers, powered by an irresistibly charming lead performance from Florence Pugh, was the pumping of fresh blood into a stale franchise. Here we go. The box office may not have responded accordingly. That's an understatement. That movie, financially, bombed. It didn't even make as much as Brave New World. It hasn't even hit $400 million yet, last I knew. The box office may not have responded accordingly, but it still saw the MCU returning to character-focused narratives with a sharp balance of humor, action, and pathos. With Thunderbolts being all about found family, it makes for the perfect launching pad for the introduction of Marvel's first family. Coming this July and kicking off the MCU's Phase 6, Max Chapman's The Fantastic Four First Step sees the first depiction of the famous four in the MCU after the painfully 2000s, probably supposed to be painful, 2000s, okay, I got to be a little bit me right now. These are supposed to be journalistic-ish outlets. You're not supposed to see this shit. I'm sorry, but you're not. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, the painful 2000s duo of films by Tim Story that have, for the most part, been wiped from public memory. Actually, Rise of the Silver Surfer is massively underrated. Anyway, and less said about the 2015 version, the better. 100% agree. Starring four of the most sought-after actors of today, Pedro Pascal. Actually, he's not that highly sought after because he literally does everything that seeks him. Let me take that back. He is highly sought after, and he also does not play hard to get. Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss-Backrack as the titular team. We are promised a retro-futuristic 1960s tale of family, heroism, and going beyond what reality makes us believe are our physical limits. Last September, Collider, alongside several other media outlets, visited the set outside London, talking with the cast and crew and observing the making of what feels like the most unique and stylish movie the MCU has made in a long time. From the second we step foot on the set, everyone we meet reinforces the same thing almost ad nauseum. This movie is about family. This is good. That is the basis, the core of the Fantastic Four. Is family. The subsequent trailers also underline this, with the centerpiece of the advertisement being Kirby Sue Storm declaring that they will fight the evil of the world as a family. Yep. We meet Grant Curtis and Tim Lewis, both veteran franchise producers, with Curtis having worked on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, cool, and the MCU TV show Moon Knight, while Lewis was a co-producer on the last 4 Harry Potter films. Those are pretty solid resumes. Thunderbolts was supposedly cheaper. It still wasn't cheap enough. Yeah, they claimed the budget for that was $180, which means it still needed to make $450 to make a profit. It hasn't even to break even, and it hasn't even made $400 million. It's that movie's losing Marvel about $100 million. Actually, it was about the same, according to the studio. That's why I never believe what the studio fucking says. Here we go. But yeah, those are pretty solid resumes. Raimi's trilogy, Moon Knight. Well, he wasn't a writer. He was just a producer, so I can, And most of that show was good, actually. And while Lewis was a co-producer on the last 4 Harry Potter films. So yeah, that's pretty solid. It's all about family, Curtis reiterates to us, but it's not just one family. Lewis tells us that Reed and Sue's growing family is as much a part of the story as the main 4. This dedication to putting family first is etched into every fiber of the movie's making. Production designer Kasra Farahani, or probably Kasra Farahani, Kasra Farahani, there we go, took inspiration from cozy mid-century California family homes for the Fantastic Four's Baxter Building penthouse. Curtis later lamented how family isn't just a theme, but the core aspect of the movie, including characterization and the Fantastic Four's battles. If you don't care about them as a family and you don't believe in that family unit and the romance, or at least the marriage between Sue and Reed and the ups and downs of a marriage, if you don't play that organically, then everything else is going to fall apart because people don't believe those relationships and they don't believe the grander Galactus threat. Curtis noted that this dedication to family and what the Fantastic Four has always been about is shared by everyone on the team, especially the director, Shackman. Matt is a big family guy. We talk about family has been part of we talk about family has been part of the DNA of the Fantastic Four from comic 1. Jesus Christ. But how do we bring those emotional bits into it? So it's great when your fellow storytellers are also fellow fans, and it makes that process a lot easier. I didn't even know that sentence was in here, but holy shit, have y'all heard me say that? There are some silly ass people who think it's a good thing when studios hire writers that are not fans. You know what you get when writers aren't fans? You get Kenobi. You get Andor. You get most of the Disney Plus shows. For Star Wars and Marvel, basically. Yeah, no. Curtis there is fucking based. Perhaps the concept of family being so important especially applies to the cast, who are asked to come together and to build that intimacy. Quinn, who stars as Johnny Storm and the Human Torch, younger brother of Sue Storm, told us, that's kind of the brief for all of us as actors, is to establish this kind of familial dynamic that is complicated, caring, and consistent. And families are rarely totally functioning. Ain't that the fucking case? There's certainly some dysfunctionality, some dysfunction stuff going on in this family. And it's kind of nice leaning into that. The idea that we have to love each other for who these characters are, And it's pretty useful that we all get on well, so that kind of makes it easy. 1 second. Okay. While the bond of family will naturally make for lighter fare, Shackman does tease about the existential and moral conflicts that Sue and Reed will face. Questioning how to be both a superhero and a parent is integral to First Step's story. It's a tremendous amount of pressure to bring a young person into a world where essentially the world is depending on you, and and that you live in the Baxter Building, which is essentially a glass house that the entire world knows what you're doing day to day. And there are all these villains that want to come after you. Can you be a parent? Should you be a parent? What does it mean when you are a parent to balance all of those things? And ultimately, does being a parent make you better at being a superhero? I hope we're in the timeline where all three movies make a Billy Edition light. That would be awesome. For a wide variety of reasons, I don't see it, but that would be fucking amazing, and I'd be totally here for it. I am here for a $3 billion Hollywood July and change. Very much here for that. If they're being accurate about these dynamics that they're bringing in, we are going to, like a lot of people, one of the biggest praises they have for Thunderbolts, again, even though it bombed at the box office financially, those that watched it, one of the biggest praises they had for that movie was the character work. This sounds like some amazing ass character work going on. Get off the desk. Get. So I'm loving this article right now. We've seen tons of teams in the MCU that have become a makeshift family, so what sets the Fantastic Four apart? Shackman has an answer. They're Marvel's first family, and unlike Star Trek or the Avengers or X-Men, which is a found family, this is a true family. This is a husband and wife. This is about a brother and a sister. Well, I mean, technically with Ben Grimm, that's found family, but, you know. This is about old friends and an honorary uncle, and eventually about children. And that makes children plural. Is she going to be knocked up with Valeria by the end of the movie? Was he just saying some shit? Is the director a reliable news source? Yeah, it's one of the second tier trades, but it's pretty reliable. Why do you ask? He's probably just saying that in general, but if it being a Freudian slip to where we're going to get Valeria at some point too, oh my god. About old friends, honorary uncle, and eventually about children. Oh, okay, that's what it is. And that's what makes them different in the comic book world. Yeah, that's okay. And that's, finish the sentence, bro. Cosmic book news. All right, I'll get to that one next. Wait, Cosmic Book News? Yeah. Those guys are a different story. And that makes them different in the comic book world, okay, and that's what makes them special and what we're trying to bring to life here. Yeah. The theme of family helped one of the main cast members get into character. When we talked to Moss Backrack, he drew similarities between Ben Grimm and Richie from The Bear, based on how committed they are. Yeah, because Backrack, the star of The Bear. In case you didn't know, based on how committed they are to those around them. Both these characters are deeply loyal people, fighters with a fierce sense of code, morality, and family. I think Ben Grimm is a little more socially evolved than, say, Richie. I'll take his word for it. I've never watched The Bear. But there's a lot of common ground there. The 1960s are undoubtedly one of the most stylish decades of recent memory, and it's evident from every person involved in the movie that this period has been a lot of fun to establish this world in. But why the 1960s? First of all, Curtis calls back to the 1950s and 60s when Marvel Comics was on the brink of bankruptcy, and it was the concept of a superhero family that saved Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's business. That is true. Curtis went on, we know that with Guardians of the Galaxy and other movies, we've explored slivers of the 60s, 70s, 80s, etc., but setting a whole movie with the 1960s aesthetic, we thought it was a new, really cool canvas. Max Shackman always keeps saying optimism, optimism, optimism of the 60s, and that really unique vibe that sadly we've kind of lost some of that. But what do you gain with the 60s and that optimism? What you do gain with the 60s and that optimism is a really cool bedrock from which everything else can rise. Found another one while you were talking about spoilers for sure. Okay. The setting won't just allow us some banger needle drops or stylish flourishes. It will allow first steps to get that, but further beyond the confines of the MCU. By setting it in that period, it's a different world in terms of Marvel, Lewis tells Collider. The production has taken great lengths to ensure an authentic 60s ambiance, with Lewis adding that their second unit director of photography, Tim Wooster, used his father's old 16mm camera to shoot some scenes in the movie, with Curtis going on to say, "We've been able to grab some of those techniques from the 60s to make this look as authentic as possible." I would say the footage of them getting ready to launch out for the first time that we've seen in the trailers is, maybe forget that article, Doomcock is mentioned. Yep, that pretty much destroys any bit of credibility that article had. Yep. Not only should I forget that article, so should you and all of us. Doomcock's a source, forget it. That's bullshit. But yeah, this mention of the old 16mm camera, if you guys think back to the trailers, like that footage on TV of them about to launch and shit, you can tell that's part of what they filled it on. Talks about what Grace Randolph said from a source's movie reaction. She even complained that was MC. Grace Randolph? Grace Randolph said MC. Okay, whoever came up with that has never watched Grace Randolph in their fucking life. I'm just going to leave it there. That is not something Grace Randolph would ever say. At least not publicly. Not from what I know. Okay, yeah. The setting won't just allow us some banger needle drops or stylish flourishes. It will allow first steps to get that, but further. Okay, I read that. Okay. Shackman spoke to the importance of this movie being rooted in the 1960s culture, saying, "The comics were created in the 60s, and they're very much informed by the space race and that JFK sense of optimism. It really defined that decade, looking to the stars, and you see it not just in the Fantastic Four, but you see it in Star Trek, which is another project that is all about family and about optimism and about believing that the right head and the right heart in combination can solve any problem. You see it in Spock and Kirk, you see it in Sue and Reed, and so these are some of the similar thematics that we're dealing with." I like that. People we meet from various departments all note that while the Fantastic Four First Steps is a superhero movie with superpowers, space travel, a massive hulking villain, and a surfer made out of silver, the fantastic aspect of the world all has to come from something real and practical. We met costume supervisor Dan Grace, who stressed the significance of this facet for relatability and charm. You watched it? She really said it? Wow. Huh. That's crazy. She's talking about this movie? No. I will say this. Grace is much better for understanding the business side of Hollywood than she is as a movie reviewer. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Her business takes and her business knowledge and her business sources are much better than her own personal reviews. Yeah. Where are we at? Okay, here we go. Stressing this for relatability and charm. It's really important to our director, Matt, that everything is based on something real and physical. So however it ends up being the final product, the origin of it has to be something real and physical, and we hope that it will give us a better character, a better rounded, but more believable, more realistic looking when it comes to the final product. Okay, costuming. Okay, I like this. It's real for me as the filmmaker. It's real for the actors. I think the audience loves it. We're trying to go on location as much as we can. We're building real sets. We're depending less and less on blue screen, green screen, and making things. The movie is set in the 60s, so a lot of our inspiration is what Stanley Kubrick did in the 60s. Nice. Shackman wanted to build miniatures for the sets, creating a 14-foot miniature for the team's ship, the Excelsior. If you know Stanley, you'll know what's up with that shit. The more you can make things with your hands, see things with your eyes, I think the more people will believe it when they see it on the screen. If it's made well, that is true. Okay. Yeah, Herbie. There's some quotes about the characters. Okay, here we go. All right. Don't let the beginning of this trigger you guys. The last live-action version of Sue Storm wasn't exactly a win for women. This is certainly not the fault of the actor who played her in the two mid-2000s films, Jessica Alba, but more of a byproduct of a more male-gazing era of filmmaking, which, frankly, we kind of need to move back towards a little bit. Don't need to go crazy with it, but let's face it. The Gooner element of Marvel Rivals contributes a significant portion to its popularity. Oh, there's Brendan with it. My scenario is more realistic, Rob. You have to admit it. More likely. The Sue Storm we'll see in First Steps is promised to be much more multifaceted. Now, that is actually a good thing. As Curtis astutely notes, Sue is the real center of the four. If you do go back through the comics, you realize that Sue Storm is arguably the leader of the Fantastic Four because without Sue Storm, everything falls apart. While not naming the past films directly, Curtis does recognize the need for better characterization for women in these films. We had the desire to date aesthetically, but in terms of character and treatment, who should be front and center, it's like, hey, let's tell the best story possible. Okay, here we go. We're getting to the good part. Sue Storm herself, Kirby, spoke to Collider about balancing Sue Storm as a member of this family, as a wife, sister, friend, and mother, as well as being a strong force on her own. She acknowledges that the earlier comics were very much a product of their time. Remember laughing with Pedro when seeing an early comic that shows Reed placating Sue's complaining by buying her a new dress. That was what was going on in the 60s for sure. When it comes to her playing a mother, Kirby, it's all about making it practical and understanding real-world expectations. It's the reality of embracing being pregnant and then carrying a baby throughout without falling into tropes or the archetypes we see in film around it. And it's a daily choice. And even when it came to be getting costumes for things, I was like, don't give me any, like, dolly skirts. I agree with her on that one. What makes Kirby feel truly feminine is allowing a space for vulnerability, but she didn't want to make Sue simply a bad boss bitch. Let me repeat this for those in the back. She didn't want to make Sue simply a bad boss bitch. Did y'all catch the didn't? Just want to make sure y'all caught the didn't. She wants to ensure that Sue has a genuine feminine soulfulness and not acquiesce to a cute, sexy version of how men perceive femininity. I mean, that's actually, there's literally nothing wrong with that. Seeing Kirby and Pascal stand beside each other is quite startling, as you can get that sense of bond and intimacy. Kirby describes her on-screen husband as generous and without ego, going into detail. I've never had a male actor as a counterpart who's been so utterly equal and supportive of a relationship, but also the female character opposite him. I just feel so grateful every day to have an actor like Pedro who is so generous. To which Pascal responds, I love being led in a way. What you may identify as generosity for me, it just isn't. I'm only inspired by, I guess, just powerful women have been the thing that has got me through being alive. So the opportunity to stand by one, to learn from one, just a partner. It's a partnership. It's male and female, but it's also just a kind of transcendent sort of partnership in the work, in the characters. And so I don't really know what the fuck I'm going to do without you, honestly, to which Kirby adds, it's rare for an actor to speak like that. The partnership thing is the key. That's like, if you've been in any kind of relationship long term, partnership is the best way to do it. When asked about what we can expect from the film's villains, with Galactus as the main baddie with his mercenary, the Silver Surfer, Curtis doesn't hold back in getting us excited. There is some Johnny Storm shit in here, too. Oh, that's it. I thought there was... I read a Johnny Storm quote from this article at some point. That was actually really good, too. But, yeah. So... oh, maybe I have it here. Okay, yeah. One of the guys I follow made this point. That quote I just read you. Excuse me. Anyone who disagrees with this is just lying to themselves, to be honest. Yes, Reed is the face of this team and the true leader, but without Sue, they're to ground the team, they would implode upon themselves. Hickman even explored that dynamic in his F4 run. And that is 100... There, now you can see it. Hickman even explored that dynamic in his F4. I've read the Hickman Fantastic Four run. A lot of what he just said and how Vanessa Kirby described her character is, yeah. And Shackman himself has been quoted as saying the Hickman run was a massive inspiration for this movie. So that's pretty much exactly how Hickman wrote Sue. Loving wife, loving mother, loving sister, like the backbone of the team, and able to balance family and superhero-dom and being uber powerful, because let's face it, Sue Storm is uber fucking powerful. Like, Hickman has her balancing all that, struggling with, the struggles of being all of that also. But yeah, like, how Kirby describes how she handled Sue and how Hickman wrote Sue in his magnificent Fantastic Four run, they're nailing that shit. Nailing it. I don't know what the fuck Grace Randolph's talking about. Like, it would appear this could very literally be the most comic accurate version of Sue. Alba's was not comic accurate. I'm not talking about like the look or anything, just like the aspects to her character, not good. So, and Kirby herself again said she did not want to do that bad boss bitch thing. So, Grace and or anyone. Oh wait, Cosmic Book News. I feel like that's who I fucking think it is. Oh. second or anything? Because this does not want to pull this shit up. Okay. Oh, see, this got cleared up with the whole shouting mid thing. That turned out to be complete bullshit. So yeah, and Cosmic Book News is one of those fucking alt-right anti-woke bunch of bitches. So yeah, between it being Cosmic Book News and between it being Cosmic Book News and utilizing Doomcock as a source, you can pretty much bullshit. Alba had the assets, but she was wrote wrong. 100% correct. Give me on Discord the Grace video. Okay. Seeing if she thinks it's MCU, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm interested. Was she saying she thought it was, or was she saying that's what people were saying? That's my question. Because if she was reporting what other people were saying, that makes a lot more sense than that being her actual opinion. Yeah, Alba's a very, very attractive lady. For 100% sure. So, anywho, since you brought that up, that was that article. If that's Grace's own opinion, wrong. If she's reporting anyone else's opinion, they're wrong. They're all wrong. Cosmic Book News, wrong. Doomcock, wrong. Grace, or whoever she's talking about, wrong. They're all wrong. They are all wrong. All right, Gal. Am I Team Rob or Team Sean? Sean. Rob annoys me. Rob's really good. Like, I don't care, like, if a fighter or anybody else or whatever annoys me. I will always, if they're talented, I will always respect the talent. I will hope they fucking lose, but I will always respect their talent. Okay, so here's the deal, folks. I need a new pop, and I need to pee. So I'm going to go handle that. And then, when I come back, main story time, y'all. Main story time. I'm actually going to put up the screen this time, because I won't be a minute. But I'll be back. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. I won't be gone that long. Music going up. I'll be back shortly. Alrighty. I think she's going off a friend that told her the pre-screening. I didn't want her saying that a lot because she usually loves the MCU. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. She's got to be talking about somebody else's opinion when she said that. MCU. That's what a lot of right-wingy, alt-right. I should be more specific because not all conservatives are dicks. But there is a very, unfortunately, if not large, very, very vocal section. Your rage baiter, anti-woke motherfuckers that like to refer to the MCU as the MCU because of them leaning into more female-led projects over the last couple phases, which it kind of goes back to what I was saying about good ideas that have been poorly executed and are now perceived as being garbage. DEI is one of those, and that's as far as we're going with that. Unions are another. That's it. For Marab and Sean, they are UFC fighters. They are fighting for the bantamweight belt tonight, I believe. Yeah. So. Okay, guys. The main story. The big cheese that outside of the people I'm about to show you and me right now, nobody is talking about. And I mean nobody. So, give me just a second. Let me make sure we're all good here. Okay. That's that. That. Turn this up. Just talking about Grace's actual words, not about the article. Oh, no, I get it. I'm going to watch the video later. All right, so the setup. Not this past Thursday, not 2 days ago, but last week Thursday. On the Hot Mic podcast featuring John Roca and Jeff Snyder. Well, YouTube show / podcast. Towards the end of literally 3 minutes left in the show, this random ass person asked what seemed at the time to be this random ass question.
Kev, hey Jeff, rumor is that there's drama between actors on the set of Avengers Doomsday, so much so that an actor had to be separated and given their own separate subplot in the movie. Have you heard anything like that?
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. It's always been remarkable how Kevin's been able to manage all those egos. I mean, that's concerning, though, if that was true. It's like, hey, we want to keep you happy. We're just going to come up with a new subplot. I mean, it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility for what I've heard with this movie, which is why I would be nervous. Yeah, you're servicing a lot of cooks in that kitchen. I have not heard anything to that effect, though.
Wow, who could it be? Now let the speculation begin.
Who could it be now?
Fantastic 214, here's more support.
Okay, so that was it, right? Jeff says he hasn't heard anything of the kind. What the fuck? Hit escape. Weird shit happened. All right. Oh, that too. Okay, so that was that. You can barely hear. What the fuck? All right, we'll try it. Yowza. All right, we'll try it this way. Just 2 seconds. I'll pull that back up real quick. Okay. I'm running it back. I turned the volume up. The video, not you. Yeah, I'm turning it up. I'm turning it up. Oh, that's why. What the fuck? Okay. All right. I fixed it. I forgot to check that volume level. My bad, chat. Okay, so again, not 2 days ago, but the previous Thursday. This kind of came out of nowhere.
Kev, hey Jeff, rumor is that there's drama between actors on the set of Avengers Doomsday, so much so that an actor had to be separated and given their own separate subplot in the movie. Have you heard anything like that?
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. It's always been remarkable how Kevin's been able to manage all those egos. I mean, that's concerning, though, if that was true. It's like, hey, we want to keep you happy. We're just going to come up with a new subplot. I mean, it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility for what I've heard with this movie, which is why I would be nervous. Yeah, you're servicing a lot of cooks in that kitchen. I have not heard anything to that effect, though.
Wow, who could it be? Now let the speculation begin.
Who could it be now?
Fantastic 214. Here's
Okay, so that was it from last week. Okay, that was it. Now, 2 days ago, Thursday, just this past most recent hot mic, the subject was brought back up. Whoops, God damn it. I keep forgetting. When I hit a number over there, weird shit happens over here. Now I gotta fucking find this bitch again. Sorry, guys. Oh, just happened again. Fucking shit. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Ah, there we are. Okay. Found it again. All right, so okay, I gotta quit using my hotkeys when I'm trying to do this shit. Motherfucking. Okay. All right, so I never left the screen. All right, so you got to watch me search, but here we go. You guys ready? You bet Namor was the problem. He's the problem on Rivals, at least. Probably Pablo. Okay, here we go.
He has something, I think it's planned for July, like a new movie, a Superman thing that he was working on. So maybe he'll want to come and plug it. I don't know.
that'll be fun. Keenan Watcher. Any word on the alleged Doomsday set drama? Yeah, Jeff. Some rumors came out. I think you were talking about it last time, like that certain people were kept apart because and their scenes were shot separately. Like, do you have anything more on this? Do you have anything more? Is it verified? What are your thoughts? Is someone trying to get you in trouble, Jeff? Is someone trying to get you in trouble, man?
I'll tell you, okay, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but
Okay.
you guys saw me.
Shut up,
Twitter
Delta
say,
Dan.
hey, what's the timestamp for that question? Because we tape on Thursdays, so on Friday, an industry source who watches the show.
Hey, when is Max Landis? What are your thoughts? Is someone trying to get you in trouble, Jeff? Is someone trying to get you in trouble, man?
I'll tell you, okay, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but
Okay.
you guys saw me on Twitter say, hey, what's the timestamp for that question? Because we tape on.
Which, by the way, I went talking about not this last show, but the one before. I missed that thing like 8 times in a row and finally said, fuck it, I'll just let him reference it on this one. And then I heard him bring up asking about the timestamp, so I went to his fucking Twitter and someone provided the timestamp. So that's how I was able to show you the first clip. I could not find that motherfucker on my own. I'm gonna be real. I'm just being honest with you. Anyway.
On Thursdays, so on Friday, an industry source who watches the show hit me up and they said that question that you were asked at the end, that's true.
Wow.
And I spent all weekend getting.
Okay. Before we go any farther into what Jeff has to say, and he has a lot more to say, mind you, just so you know. Volume on video down. God damn it. Oh, that was you meant. Not you don't want me to turn it down. It was down. Yeah, I fixed it. I don't know why. I had it turned up on the last one. I don't know why it didn't stay that way. Like why I have to adjust it per video. Regard. It's fucking dumb. Anyway. Okay, yeah, right. So here's the deal. Jeff Snyder is an abrasive motherfucker. And a lot of people don't like his fucking attitude, which is understandable. He even gets like, I love him. I think his attitude is fun most of the time. He even gets on my nerves. But the problem is a lot of people tend to conflate their dislike for someone's attitude with their ability to do their job. And people conflate that shit a lot with Mr. Snyder. He may be a dick. He's frequently a dick. But even when he's being a dick, he is still one of the top in his game. Is he perfect? No. No insider / scooper / whatever is perfect. None of them. But he is S tier when it comes to this kind of stuff. Him and Perez are S tier. So you don't have to like him, but you better realize and respect what he does. He is one of the top in the game. You don't have to like his attitude, but don't conflate it with his ability to do his job. He's been doing this shit for over 20 years. He is well connected. He's not 100% accurate because his sources may be behind sometimes. He may just straight get lied to. But overall, when push comes to shove, he is S tier in this game. Now let us continue.
There we go. This is stupid again. All right, fine.
Oh, God damn it.
All
I
right,
hit
what are
the
your
number.
thoughts on this, Clayface? These four guys. You love it? You
Fucking shit and crap and... I forgot. Actually.
This would be the biggest medical breakthrough in centuries. But we need samples from living dinosaurs.
It's like Midnight Run. I don't know.
I love the. Is someone trying to get you in trouble, Jeff? Is
All right,
someone
we're going to listen to the whole thing again. Just deal with it.
I'll tell you, okay, I'm not going to go too deep
Exactly,
into it. But
Doppelganger, exactly.
you guys saw me on
You too,
Twitter
Your
say, hey, what's the timestamp for that question? Because we tape on Thursdays. So on Friday, an industry source who watches the show hit me up and they said, that question that you were asked at the end, that's true.
Wow.
And I spent all weekend getting the story. Now, I didn't have my laptop this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
When I finally got the full story,
oh shit!
I'll put it this way: I decided not to do anything with it. I think it would create.
And this is where, brace yourselves, folks that are not fans of Jeff Snyder. This is where he proves that while he's a fair chunk of dick for a fair chunk of time, not all the time. Listen and learn, motherfuckers.
Create too much of a mess. I think things have blown over. Okay. I think it was also a little overblown. And Roka, I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, sounds good. I want to hear about it.
This is a relationship business, and so when people think it and say, "Oh, Jeff Snyder's an asshole," it's like, if you guys only fucking knew the shit that I don't write, okay? Right. Because I care about this industry. Yeah. And the fact is that there are children all over the world who look up to these people.
Ooh, oh boy, that has a lot of levels.
And they don't need to.
There we go. This is stupid again. All right.
Oh, God damn it.
All right. What are your thoughts on this, Clayface? These four guys.
screen again. Shoot me now.
Wow.
And I
Okay.
spent all weekend getting the story. Now, I didn't have my laptop this weekend.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry,
When I finally
chat.
got the full story.
I'll get it together eventually.
Oh shit.
I'll put it this way: I decided not to do anything with it. I think it would create too much of a mess. I think things have blown over.
Okay.
I think it was also a little overblown. And Roka, I'll tell you off camera.
Okay. Sounds good. I want to hear about it.
Damn, I want to know off camera.
This is a relationship business. And so when people say, oh, Jeff Snyder's an asshole, it's like, if you guys only fucking knew the shit that I don't write, okay? Right. Because I care about this industry. Yeah. And the fact is
that industry's your lifeblood, Jeff.
All over the world who look up to these people.
Ooh. Oh boy, that has a lot of levels.
And they don't need to know that, and I'm just making this up, right? This is not who it was. They don't need to know that Iron Man and Hulk are fighting. It's not Iron Man and Hulk, but like, I had to weigh that against just, relationships in the business. And like, do I really want to burn these people who have been good to me over the years, or whoever, whatever it is. So I made the decision to not pursue that one, but credit to that comment to whoever asked us that question
last week or today. Yeah.
I don't know if they were, if they had read that somewhere. I haven't seen the reports, like whoever broke that story, right? Who, if it was our commenter or if it was somewhere else, like, good info.
Yeah. All right, so we got two more of these.
All right. All right, chat. Hope the actors fighting outside don't lead to unnecessary delays. Yeah, no, I don't think it'll be all right. Okay, so let's go back to not this most recent show, but the one before. The person that asked the question initially alluded to not only did they have to be separated, but that they actually had to create subplots and shit. Now, Jeff did not specifically address that part of it, whether they did a subplot or shit, but he did say that the shit happened. He also said that from what he's heard, it has at this point blown over, and that it may have been overblown. But even if the fact that if things are fixed now, A, it happened, allegedly. B, it wasn't Joe Schmo background guy. It was two of the leads. Which actually, if it's two of the leads, kind of, sort of backs up what the original question asker last week mentioned about maybe giving one of them their own subplot. Like, if it's one, if we're talking like, as Jeff said, not specifically these two, Iron Man and Hulk, but people on that, actors on that level, actors who play characters on that level. The person from last week could have been accurate about them, whoever, one of them getting their own subplot. If it's a big enough motherfucker, that actually could happen. With a cast that big and that stacked, I'd be surprised if there wasn't any kind of kerfluffle. I mean, yeah, odds are that there will be a kerfluffle. And odds also would be that it would be the biggest people because they have the biggest egos, which most easily leads to kerfluffle. So Pedro and RDJ, who knows? I probably could have been like really, really thorough and gone back and looked over the chairs to try and figure it out. I only literally just now thought of it. My bad. I mean, I couldn't actually find that video. Do we want to speculate, chat? Do we want to kind of have a little fun with this? Because I can go to the Marvel. Y'all bear with me for a bit. We can go to the chairs. We can go to the chairs. Nope, not that one. That one. How long ago were the chairs now? Oh, flowing. Oh, pew pew. Oh, pew pew. Okay. Okay, this is it. All right. First person who came to mind was Simu Liu. We can speculate for fun, can't we? Oh, 100%. I'm gonna say if they were as significant as what Snyder was alluding to, that disqualifies Simu Liu. No offense to Simu Liu, but he ain't that big. Neither him as an actor nor Shang-Chi as a character are that big. Exactly. All right, Chad. You think it might have been Hemsworth in somebody? He's an OG Avenger. He's now a bigger actor. I would say he's possible. I don't know how possible he is. Hemsworth to me has never come across like that guy. Who knows? You know, out of the public eye, who knows? He could be a complete dick bag. But everything I've seen of him makes me think probably not him. What do you guys think? You think Hemsworth is one of them? I personally don't. What do you guys think? Yay or nay on Hemsworth? With his Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen? I mean, as actors, they're big enough. As X-Men characters, they're big enough. I don't think so. And it could be. They both could have gotten crotchety old men. They're both big enough actors and characters that they could get their own subplot. They're possible. I don't know how likely they are. Personally, I don't think that's very likely. But that's just me. But I will not deny the possibility. Like, the ego would fit both the what's the word I'm looking for? Significance of the actors and their characters both. So Hemsworth is a maybe. Nope, not her. Definitely not him. Not big enough. Nope. Nope. And remember, one of them getting their subplot is part of the deal. Like I said, Snyder didn't confirm that, but the intimation of the size of the character says maybe. So Hemsworth could get his own subplot. She's not. He's not. Actor-wise or character-wise. Nope. No. 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 Nope. Sorry, no more. Nope. Nope. As an actress, she's huge. Character, not so huge. She was a lead in Thunderbolts. I don't consider it very likely, but I can't say that Pew Pew's not a possibility. Watching UFC in the background, Pena and Harrison are in the octagon. Do I want spoilers or no? No, but I will say on the record, I want Harrison to choke Pena out. Juliana Pena annoys the absolute fuck out of me. I want Harrison to win so bad. No. Kelsey Grammer obviously is pretty damn close to Hollywood royalty, but no. Definitely not. Nope. 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 Loki's a possibility. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate that. Loki's a possibility. Hiddleston's bigger now as an actor, and character-wise, Loki has been somewhat central to basically to the entire MCU, and is about to be very central to Doomsday in Secret Wars. So, what do you think, chat? I would say Hiddleston is above a 50% possibility. I don't know how he is as a person, but in terms of notoriety as an actor and definitely character-wise in the MCU, I would put odds as him being one of them at better than 50%. Again, we got a Patrick Stewart. Could be. Well, see, Loki's going to be part of the main plot, probably. But yeah, they could have given him a little extra for sure. And we already talked about Stewart and McKellen. There they are. Possibilities. What is it? Alan Cumming. Okay, he's what's his fucking face? Kurt Wagner. So not him. Why can't I think of his mutant name? Nightcrawler. Not him. Nope, not Rebecca Romaine. Marsden? No. No. Pedro? Maybe. He seems like a sweetheart in front of like any camera he's in, whether he's acting or being interviewed or whatever. But he could be a total motherfucking diva behind the scenes. And let's face it, he's one of the hottest actors going right now. One of the busiest actors going right now. He is a definite possibility. But who would his op be? See, that's the other question we got to answer. Once we figure out who the possibility is, who could their op be? Okay, so yeah. We have not compiled a large list, folks. Not the biggest list. We got Hemsworth. We got Downey, obviously. We got Stewart. We got McKellen. We got Hiddleston. Did I forget anybody? Like, there really aren't too many on the level of Jeff's examples. And we don't even have Ruffalo confirmed, although he's probably going to be in it. RDJ, yeah. I mean, he probably is the likeliest candidate. The question is who is it? Who would his op be? That is the question. Who does Op be if it's RDJ? I would think probably. I think we may be getting a real life battle a real life edition of what'll probably be the final battle in Doomsday, and that's RDJ, and that's Doom v Loki, RDJ v Hiddleston. Pure speculation, based on what is still technically a rumor. Okay, let me make that clear. We're talking about a rumor, and we're speculating based on that rumor, which means we're basically dealing with clouds right now. Let me be very specific about that. Okay? We're doing speculation based on what is still only a rumor. Let me be clear. Talk about taking method acting to the next level. Yeah, right. So, but there are good aspects to it. Again, Jeff did say it was probably a bit overblown and that it has blown over. But if things actually are blowing up behind the scenes, with actors big enough, with characters that are playing characters big enough that they actually could do a whole subplot to mollify said actor. Damn. Brendan says, I don't think they're a known chair. That is also entirely possible. It is also entirely possible. It doesn't even have it. Neither actor has to be one of the ones announced. One of the ones we know. One of the ones confirmed. They could be both unconfirmed actors that we're going to see. There are, and some of the unconfirmed actors that we think are probably going to be in the movie also qualify. What if it's Evans and somebody? What if it's Ruffalo and somebody? What if it's Evans and Ruffalo? Cap versus Hulk. That is a very good point, Brennan. Very good point. But again, while Snyder did say it's blown over and probably overblown, and again, we're still dealing with a rumor. If this actually happened, the worry is how much of an issue is this going to be going forward, because they're not filming. They still got at least 2 months of filming left. Well, probably a month or so. It's now June. They've been filming since. Actually, they've only been filming since late April. So they've only been filming for about 6 weeks. So they probably got like 6 or more weeks left of filming to do. So while this first storm may be over, no pun intended to the X-Men character, could be Brolin. That's a bit of a stretch. And besides, if we see Thanos again, we're not going to see him again till Secret Wars. So, personally, I wouldn't even consider Brolin. That's just. And they're going to film Secret Wars right after. Oh, there's going to be like a 2 or 3 month break. But yeah. Essentially, yes. It's not going to be quite as bad as what they did with Lord of the Rings, where they literally did film the Two Towers and Return of the King back to back. They might add a week or 2 break, but can't wait for X-Men. I know. But so while the immediate situation seems to have been resolved, they're maybe halfway done with filming, folks. Come up again. Could come up again. And then that in and of itself sparks more questions. Like, will this actually in reality affect the movie? Like what we get story-wise and stuff. If it will affect the movie and the story, how much will it affect the movie and the story? There's no way to answer either of those two questions without knowing the participants. So, that's what it is, folks. It more than likely happened. It more than likely involved big names. But it appears, at least for now, to be kind of a thing in the past. That's it. That's what I got for you, chat. All the stories. Everything. Let me know your thoughts. Own it. All. Any of it. Questions? Comments? Share with me what you think. About anything we've gone over tonight. It's all wide open. Or really any other nerdy thing you want to bring up. I don't want to get too far off the nerdy track. Couple reasons. A, it's late. B, we've had a good time, and I don't want to really get into that shit. So let me go ahead and take this opportunity to say, if you have not done so, hit the motherfucking buttons. Those being the one that looks like this should be right about here. Then there's one that says subscribe. At least on most apps, it should be right about in here. And then there's the notification bell, so you know whenever I do my shizzle. Although the best way to know when I do my shizzle is to join the Discord. If someone with a wrench would throw that in there, I would greatly appreciate it. Come on, Mouts! Help me out. Someone put a Discord in the chat. Someone put the Discord in the chat. You finished Gen V a few days ago. What'd you think? I really like Gen V. I'm excited for season 2. I'm also excited for the final season of The Boys next year. I'm also excited to watch Predator Killer of Killers with y'all motherfuckers next week. Now, I will not begrudge anyone who does not want to wait. I ain't going to be mad at you. I just hope you're willing to watch it twice. That's all I'm saying. Hit all the buttons. Now you're going to start Boys Season 4. Am I going to watch F1? Oh, the racing movie? Well, not in the theaters. I'm very, very selective about what I go to the theater to see these days. Mostly just like the big event movies. I used to go see just like whatever. Like I've seen Forrest Gump. I saw Titanic theater. I saw Forrest Gump in the theater. I used to see more movies in the theater, but these days, thank you, Lou. Surprisingly, just as good as The Boys. I thought so. But these days, with where my own personal finances are at, combined with the economy, I have to be much more choosy. Which, again, that being the state for many people overall, is another reason I feel like it's going to be very difficult for any of the July releases to hit a billion. Much less more than one. Really surprised me how well the characters from The Boys intercrossed. Kripke is good. If you've ever watched Supernatural, you know Kripke can handle a lot of storylines at once. I can only imagine how weird Supernatural would have been if he wasn't limited by the CW. When I say Kripke, he's the creator of the live-action adaptation of The Boys on Prime. He's the reason we have Jensen Ackles on there as Soldier Boy. He's the reason we're getting not just Jensen Ackles back, but Jared Padalecki, who was the other Winchester brother in Supernatural, plus Misha Tate. I think no, not Misha Tate. That's the female MMA fighter, Misha Collins, who was Castiel on Supernatural. It's why the guy that was the president last season, I can't remember his name, but he was also on Supernatural. Like Kripke is, yeah. Doesn't my job have employee benefits for this sort of thing? Ticket discounts? No. Envy Mini Girl have Mini Crush? Yeah. No. Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to Jim V. Never seen Supernatural? Great show. 15 seasons. Great show. Is it 14 or 15? I think it's 15. Anthony Starr of Homelander is amazing. Yes. He has a scene in season 4 that was chilling. He's got a couple scenes in every season that are chilling. Anthony Starr is fucking dope. Like, I keep wanting to cast him. Like, there's so many villains he would be so good at. But I think it'd be interesting to see him be a hero. You know? It'd be interesting to see him as a good guy. That could be really, really, really fun. Which it? The boys or Gen V or both? Lou? The plane scene in season 1 still gets you. Yeah, that's. It's also cool knowing the context now of all the memes. Yeah. Mouth closed. Okay. Oh, talking about the fights? Good. I'll find out on Twitter after stream. Because Homelander is probably my favorite out of the boys, Homelander and Butcher. Yeah, no. Anthony Starr is fucking amazing. Carl Urban is fucking amazing. Like, there isn't really, I mean, there's like people who are like magnificent, but like the amount of bad actors on that show is very low if they're real, if there aren't any. Anthony Starr and Urban are New Zealanders? Yes, they are. Hemsworth's Australian, right? You didn't watch Gen V? You should watch Gen V. What up, Delta Dan? Your girls get back from Hawaii tomorrow? Nice. About to be gaming all night. Also, volume up. What? Urban starred in this one super movie called Dread. Yeah, no, I like Dread. Urban's Dread, greater than Stallone Judge Dread. 100%. 100%. All right, I got to pee real quick. Ugh. Did I watch Invincible? Hell yeah. I love Invincible. Invincible's the dope. Invincible's dope. season 2 is the weakest of the 3. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it was bad. It's just the weakest of the 3. But being weaker than season 1 or season 3 is, you know, not difficult because those two seasons were the bomb. Can't wait for season 4. I know. People stayed hyping up that Conquest fight in season 3 was airing and it lived up. Yeah. I seen there were some very enterprising people who were posting like side by sides of the comic panels of that fight and like scenes from the show of that fight. Bruh. If you read that comic and you know, obviously read that fight, saw it drawn, and then saw it in the show, you were probably a happy camper. Yeah. Invisible's dope. Like, Prime Video overall is killing it. They really saved up their animation budget for that finale, and you can tell. Yes, that is true. That is 100% true. Yep. Yeah, you can tell they spent more of the animation budget on the action scenes than they did everything else. Not even just the fighting, they put so much detail in the mark and Oliver's hair movements too. Yeah, they definitely decided where they were going to put their money, and most of it was in the action. Apparently, everyone who watched Mobland on Amazon Prime loves it too. Is that on Amazon Prime? I thought that was on Paramount. I think Mobland's on Paramount, isn't it? I remember when I accidentally subbed to Prime and I was considering unsubbing. Safe to say that was the best mistake of my life. The Sheryl Crow song, "You're my favorite mistake." For you, that's Amazon Prime. Prime's killing it though, man. Mama just showed me they have THC inhalers. You can get high and blame asthma now. Oh, you mean like the actual? Oh, really? Does your homie have a link? On Prime. That's right. You're in New Zealand. It's on Paramount here in the States. Yeah, it's on Paramount here now. Yeah, did your homie send you a link, Delta Dan? I'm curious. I don't know why I'm curious at all. It is Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy and Helen Mirren in Irish Mob series. My God, what a cast. Holy. I knew it had Hardy in it. I didn't know it had Brosnan and Mirren in it, though. I don't think I'm going to have to use alternate methods for that shit. I don't think I'm paying for Paramount Plus currently. Send you the picture he sent me. He didn't send you an actual link. God damn it. Might want to question that motherfucker. If he really liked you, he should have sent you a link. But yeah. It'd make it a lot easier to get through concert security, I'll tell you that. What's this? I have asthma. Alternate methods. Right. Wink, wink. Exactly. What? Yeah. All right, chat. I'm going to get out of here pretty soon because I'm moving tomorrow and I have to get up. And I got to take this fucking rig and desk down. It's called True Hemp. He lives in Minnesota, though. Oh, we'll see. I'm going to watch Sinners tonight using the sad method. Exactly. Oh, shit. Yeah. I'm not going to do that tonight. Isn't Sinners like long? Isn't it like 2.5 hours or so? Not that I'm complaining, mind you. I've heard it's really fucking good. Haley Steinfeld, bro. My goodness. Anyway. But yeah, I got to like move tomorrow. I got to tear all this shit down and everything else in this fucking room and throw it on a truck. All that shit. So. Yeah. Thanks, Brooke. But, anyone else got anything they want to address real quickly? Like, I'll take a few minutes, but on the whole, I am getting out of here pretty soon. Yeah, Mrs. Chillin and I are moving in with her parents. They are. No, we're moving in with Mrs. Chillin's parents because they are at the point in their lives where they need help and stuff, and we need a nice place to live for like not that much money. So it works. It's a win-win for everybody. They get help around the house and in the yard and all that shit, and we get the ease of very, very low, very much lowered comparatively to most people household costs. Thank you, Brooke. Damn right. Join the Discord. Hit all the fucking buttons. Yeah, exactly. Saving some bread, too. Getting caught up just a bit. All right, y'all. I'm calling it. Damn, almost 3.5 hours. Fuck yeah. I think we had a pretty fucking good stream, folks. I think we had a pretty fucking good stream. What do you guys think? I hope you had fun. I really, really, really appreciate y'all being here, especially if you were here the whole fucking time. Like 3.5 hours is not a small amount of time. When's the Fireball sponsorship coming? Right? Somebody's right. Check. Anyway, like, it's not a small amount of time. Y'all are amazing for choosing to spend your time here with me. Like, that's blows my mind every fucking time. So thank you for being here. Love y'all. I'll let you know what day next week, but I 100% for sure want to watch Predator Killer of Killers with y'all. And again, I'm not saying wait for that stream. If you want to watch it, fucking watch it. If the reviews if you guys feel the same way the people that I follow on Twitter feel about it, you'll be fine watching it twice. Hell, I may even not wait and watch it twice the second time with y'all. So, yeah, so we're going to do that next week. And of course, assuming everything goes smoothly, the normal Wednesday and Saturday night streams we do every week. Wednesday and Saturday night, every week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, that's what it is right now. We're going to watch Killer of Killers together next week at some point, and the usual Wednesday and Saturday night streams at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see y'all there. Hope you had a good time tonight. If you're on the replay, I hope you had a good time watching the stream / video, whatever you want to call it. And again, thank you for choosing to spend time with me, whether live or on the replay. That's awesome. And I thank you. So, I hope you have a good beginning to your week. I will keep you all updated in the Discord about when the watch party is going to be. So make sure you are joined to the Discord. The link you shouldn't even have to scroll to still see the link, or if you do, just a wee bit. Dropped it not that long ago. So click the link, join the Discord. If you don't want to scroll, it's in the description of this video. It's in the main channel description. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. And hope to see you all back here, depending on when the watch party is. If I don't have a Tuesday, it'll probably be Thursday. I'll say that much. So I hope to see you back here either Tuesday to watch Killer Killers or Wednesday for the regular Wednesday night stream. Much love, y'all. Hope you had a good time, because I did. Later. Oh, chat. That was a good one, in my opinion. I hope you agree. That was a good stream. Hope you guys had as much fun as I had, if not more. Hope you have a good beginning to your week. Hope to see you again next time, whether it be Tuesday or Wednesday. It'll be one of the two. But either way, whether it's Tuesday or Thursday, we will watch that new Predator movie together. Possibly for most, if not all of us, a second time, if it's as good as I hear. Excuse me. So, anyway, I had a great time tonight. I hope you did. Thank you so much for giving me your time and attention. Whether you're active in the chat, lurking, or on the replay, thank you. You're the best. We'll see you next time. Later.